In the middle of this White House turmoil, Republicans are also dealing with the potential loss of a House seat in a strong GOP district. Dan Senor is a former advisor to Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Looks like the Democrat may have won in that Pennsylvania district.
Yeah, it's a bad sign.
Bad sign.
Bad sign. It's the 7th special election since President Trump has been elected, or since he's been sworn in. 8th if you include the Alabama race. And in each of these races, even though only a couple of them the Democrat has won, you've seen massive shift of vote. I mean, Democrats have shifted the vote 16, 18, 20 points on average.
And the president himself went there to campaign himself.
And it looks like the race was tighter before he showed up. Oh. So what it's looking like is the president is very good at motivating the opposition. It's not clear that he's good at motivating his base in these congressional races. So it's another sign that, Republicans are facing real headwinds heading into November.
And this was an election that took place after the tax cut bill was passed, which was supposed to be, by the Speaker Paul Ryan and others, the great thing that was going to get Republicans to turn out and help Republican candidates.
Which I actually think the tax cut message could be effective, but it has to be consistently deployed. I mean, what you have with this president is he's so dominant in every single news cycle. He's omnipresent. Just look at what we've been talking about the past few days. Staff shakeup. This one's in, this one's out. Chaos. North Korea. Stormy Daniels.
Do you think, but let's talk about that for a second. Do you think people care? It's so hard to me to wrap my brain around a porn star and a president in the same sentence. Do you think voters care about that story?
I mean, it's so beyond anything we've ever had to deal with. There's very little recent precedent for it, but it seems to me if it supports, if it's in service of a narrative of chaos,
yes,
and if it's in service of a narrative of corruption, it's a problem.
Okay.
And that chaos you're talking about is a consistent message for those Democratic voters. In other words, that's what gets them motivated, is the president, and they feel kind of an impotent rage that there's nothing they can do about it. One way they can do something is elect Democrats.
Right. I keep telling my Republican friends who are running for office, the opposition's motivation and their energy is not conditions-based. It's not like if they say, well, the economy's cranking, it's doing great, and there's no national security crisis, the world is basically stable, like we have a good story to tell. But the opposition is not, their fears and their anger is not calmed by conditions. It's all focused on one man, the revulsion against the president. So as long as he's in the frame, they're going to turn out in huge numbers.
And
what are you hearing about the...
Sorry. He says that he likes working in chaos. He says that people are lined up for these positions at the White House. A, do you think that's true? Because I wonder what it's like to work in a place where they say, Dan Senor, your job is on the line. John Dickerson, Norah O'Donnell, where you get up in the morning and your name is in the headlines as possibly not having a job by the end of the day. Who wants a job like that?
It's very difficult. Look, to me, there are like 3 profiles of people who go to serve a president.
Yes.
1 are the loyalists, people who've been with the president forever. Hope Hicks was like that. 2 are the sort of process people, the people who just want to serve the office. They feel like it's a role of public service to come in and out of these administrations. Jim Mattis probably fits in that profile. John Kelly. And then there are the ideologues, and I don't say that pejoratively. People who care about a set of ideas and are there to advance an agenda. And the problem is, if you look at all 3 of those categories, they're all going. Normally, a president can hang on to the ideologues, but the loyalists may get demoralized. So the loyalists want to hang around, but the ideologues don't see their agenda sink through. Here you see everybody not signing.
Can you tell us what you're hearing about what changes are going to happen and who might replace General Kelly if he's ousted?
I think actually Kelly's going to be around for a while. I mean, people I've spoken to who've spoken to the president, a lot of people speak to people who speak to the president, but there is a sense that he has been frustrated with him, but he is an anchor there, and he is solid, so I think he'll be there for a while. I worry about General McMaster. I think he's talented. I think he could very, very easily wind up in Seoul, Korea, taking over U.S. forces there if General Vince Brooks steps down, which it sounds like he is. So I would look out for McMaster as possibly the next one to go.
That's okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dan Senor.
Thanks.